Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's session, which is all about social media commerce. So before we get stuck in, just a reminder that we do ask you to remain muted for the session, but we would love for you to avail of the chat box, the Q&A box. So as I'm going along, I will keep an eye on that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to pop them in there or into the chat box. I'll keep an eye on both. We also have a sheet that comes with today's session. So we would encourage you to fill that out, especially fresh from today's session as well. And then we do offer those one-to-one sessions with you too. So we would definitely recommend people get a lot of value out of hearing feedback that's tailored to them and tailored to their business as well. So that one-to-one session is also something that you can avail of. So just to get into today's session, this is a follow-up from the first social media session that I provided initially, and that will give you a good grounding for planning your social media content and just knowing the value of what social media can bring to your business as well, looking at ways to find your customers and just really structuring that content plan too. So this is a follow-on from that session. It's all about commerce. So now that you have a good idea of the structure that you need and the value that social media brings, we want to bring it to the next level now and focus on how you can obviously promote your store, but promote your online presence, promote your online offering, and promote the products that you have on offer for people to buy through your website. So today is all about that. And what we're going to talk about is the social commerce toolkit. So we'll go through all of the items that you should really have in terms of social media in order to really get the most out of your content and sales and really make sure you're ticking all of the boxes as well moving forward. So we'll get stuck in, and as I said, pop your questions into the Q&A box or into the chat box. I have them open on a second screen here. So if you have questions, that's the place for those as I'm going along. So feel free to pop them in there too. So talking about your social commerce toolkit. So what is involved in this? And it's really about optimizing your e-commerce platform. So this is to make sure that you are maximizing your online presence and also using all of the tools on social media for you to showcase your products and also make sales. So the first thing here is content pillars, and I'll go into all of these individually as well as we go through today's session. But the first one is content pillars, and what these are, they will help you to structure and plan your content. So from our last session, you are aware that obviously consistency works well and making sure that you have a content plan and have goals set for your content. But you might have a little bit of trouble when it comes to actually structuring your content, what to talk about. So your content pillars will help you with that, and we'll give you some prompts as well that might help you to plan some content. Next up here, we have the Meta Pixel, and I will go into this in a bit more detail, but essentially what it does is it tracks activity on your website, and then it allows you to optimize for that specific activity when you're doing advertising. But it's also good to help update your inventory that you're showing on your Facebook shop or your Instagram shop in real time. Then we have our inventory page and a shoppable website. So once you have your website, your shoppable website set up, you can create then an inventory page, which allows you to do Facebook shops, Instagram shopping, to showcase your products on a social media platform and not just on your website. Then you also have a product catalog. So when you have your shoppable website and you create that inventory page and shop, you can create then a product catalog. So that will then directly link to the products available on your website, and it will update in real time in terms of stock, in terms of price, and in terms of imagery. And then we have lifestyle imagery. So I want to allow you to be a bit more creative when it comes to showcasing and taking imagery that you put on your website or put on your social media. We want you to bring your content to life that little bit more. So that's just a quick synopsis of what I'm going to be going through in today's session with you. And then at the end, hopefully you'll feel a bit more confident when it comes to planning your content and your ads around really maximizing that e-commerce selling point as well. So content pillars. So as I explained, they're essentially a way for you to structure your content. You need to make sure that when you set your content pillars, when you decide these are the 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 things that I want to make sure that I cover in the month when it comes to my content planning. So just a quick one on the right-hand side here, you can see that we have an 80-20 rule. And the 80-20 rule is that 80% of your content should be informative, entertaining, or educational. You need to make sure that 80% is tapping into that, because yes, we all want to just do the sell, talk about products, sell the products. But if you are continuously selling, you'll find that you won't have an engaged audience. You'll probably have a lower reach on your posts if you continuously say the same thing over and over again, or focus on selling over and over again. So you need to have a balance here. So when people feel like they are being informed about something, or they're being educated about something, or you're providing value, or you're entertaining them, then they feel like they're building that relationship with you. You are not just saying, hi customer, buy this. You're saying, hello person, let's talk about, human things. Let's give you some really good tips, or let's give you some really good valuable content for you to use and save and, take into your everyday life. So that relationship building is really important. And the thing is, when you create this informative, educational, or entertaining content, you can still sell without selling. You can still have a product featured somewhere. You can be in your store. You can still have branding present. It's not that you're doing a hard sell. It's just that you're soft selling by providing the value first, and then your products or whatever you're trying to sell can be present, because it's still going to provide that opportunity for people to ask questions about what's featured. So that's something that we would really like to push with you, is to not just focus 100% on selling. So let's have a look at some content pillars, some examples here. So your USP is your unique selling point. So what makes you stand out versus your competitors? So if I'm looking at your store and I'm looking at a competitor store who just happens to be right alongside you, what's making you stand out? So if they sell the same things that you sell, what is the difference? So what makes you unique? So you need to make sure that you know that. And sometimes it takes some time to sit down and really call out your unique selling points. And some of these content pillars will help you do that as well. So your expertise. So whatever products that you sell, or what you stock, or whatever services you provide, you have an expertise. You know how they work, you know why you bought them, and you know exactly the ins and outs of them. So that expertise, again, is what sets you apart. So you need to have that somewhere in your content. Your team and your staff, this is something that cannot be cloned by a competitor. They're not going to have the same people as you have in your store. So focusing on staff-related content, team-related content, whether it's supporting them, whether it's showcasing their favorite products, bringing them into the mix of content, if possible, brilliant. And then obviously there's the products that you have in your offering. And this is the kind of selling point here as well, talking about your products and showing them in use, or giving tips around them, or just things like that. That is not just, here's our product and this is how much it is. You need to kind of bring it to life a little bit. Then your experience. So how long have you been in business? Have you been working in this industry for X amount of years? Like, bring that experience into it as well. Your personality. So this is the same as the USP, right? This cannot be cloned either. So if you decide on a brand persona or a personality for your business, then keep that. That's what makes you stand out versus the kind of copy and paste that some people do from supplier. You need to make sure that your personality is really shining through, because that's the thing. You want to mimic the experience of somebody walking into your store and getting that nice kind of staff welcoming, that approachability. That's what you want to shine through in your social content. And then you have your community and your customers. So people who support you, people who buy from you, people who could be your advocates, people in the community. So can you support them? Can you showcase them? Can you, ask them for testimonials or reviews, or ask them to be featured in content? All of that makes for really good content as well. So if you are struggling with some content pillars, there's some examples for you below. And they just allow you to make sure that something is ticked here. You're ticking off something from your content pillar, and do try to stick to that 80-20 rule if you possibly can. So now we're kind of looking at this funneled approach. So when we get into things like when you want to advertise or what you want to focus on first with your content, a lot of people like to go straight into encouraging action. They want the sale, they want the traffic on their website, but you need to start from the top. So you need to make sure that you're attracting an audience and you're inspiring them. So this is a crucial part of that new audience generation. You don't just go in with a cold audience, with a hard sell. You need to build them up. So attracting and inspiring. So this is where that kind of educational, informative, value-driven content comes in. And then once they start to engage with you, whether it's that they follow your page or they comment on your post, they like your post, they're starting to warm up to you and engage with you. That's where the retention comes in. So if you showcase yourself as approachable, if you respond to comments in a really friendly, approachable way, then that's kind of building that relationship with them. And that's then when you can start encouraging that action. So if somebody maybe decides then you've put up a post, you've kind of built a little bit of a relationship with that person, and now they're asking you questions about a specific product in messages. That means they're very, very, very close to purchase or very close to becoming a customer. So that's where you can encourage the sale, encourage that action, and then generate that loyalty. So don't forget about the customer after they've bought from you. They are now in that lovely space where they become an advocate for you, or they can buy from you again. You can upsell, cross-sell, you can offer incentives, you can really just build that loyalty with those people. And then in turn, they'll be your advocates, they'll be your cheerleaders, they'll be the people sharing the posts and telling their friends. So make sure that you kind of have this approach to your campaigns, to your content planning, that you're always kind of funneling new people in the whole time and then bringing them through that nice kind of engagement, retention, and then encouraging that action. So next up, we have the pixel. So the best way that I can describe the pixel is essentially similar to Google Analytics. It's a piece of code that's provided to you from Meta. And then what that does is it goes into your website, it lands on your website, it lives in your website, and it tracks all activity from all sources. So not just activity from Facebook and Instagram. It tracks every single piece of traffic that comes from anywhere in the internet and any platform. And it tracks that action. So it will be able to then, if you're doing an ad and you want to generate sales, the pixel is learning what a sale means. The pixel is learning what a sign up is. The pixel is learning what add to cart is. So when you're doing ads, it's more than likely going to show it to people who have kind of shown these signals of, I've seen an ad on Instagram before and I've put an item in my cart, or I've purchased before. So the pixel that's learning this behavior is now finding similar people who do those actions that you want people to take on your website. So it's really good for tracking. It's also really good for retargeting. So if there's people who've been on your website that have not purchased from you yet, then you can come back and retarget them because you have a pixel there tracking that activity, and then it finds them again on Facebook or on Instagram. So what you need to do here is go to business.facebook.com/settings, and in there then you'll be able to see on the left-hand side, there is data sources and there's pixel. So when you click on that, it will prompt you to set up a pixel if you have not set one up before. And if you've Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, if you have an e-commerce platform, the chances are it's going to be partnered with Meta. So this is only a selection of some of the partners that they have. They've so many more than this. But when you select the platform that you're on, it's going to make it really, really easy for you to integrate that pixel. It will give you a step-by-step guide of here's what you do with the pixel. And it's pretty much a 2 to 3 step guide once you're logged into your website. You're not going to break your website. You're not going to ruin anything. It's very, very clear. But if you do need the help of a website developer to do this, absolutely do. But I'm pretty confident that you'd be able to do it yourself. If you're unsure as to whether or not you have a pixel, you can look at Meta Pixel Helper, which is a Chrome extension. And then that allows you then to see whether or not there's one live on your website. So you can do that little test to see if there's one live or not already. So just to break up the session for a minute, I want to launch this, this question. So in your opinion, how many Instagram users that click on shopping posts on the platform each month have made a purchase directly from social media? Is it A, 20 million, B, 30 million, C, 50 million, or D, 130 million? Going once, going twice, and the answer is 130 million. So a lot of people. So I know there's someone who got that right anyway. Well done. Yeah, there's a lot of people that do directly purchase from social media. So once you have all of your toolkits set up and once you're really, really optimized for shopping, you will start to see that uptake with the good content and with generating that loyalty and generating that action. And using your pixel, you will be able to then track that activity and optimize for sales. So eventually it becomes this really well-oiled machine. So you have your organic content working really well for you. And then now you can step into some advertising, and we'll give you some tips for that towards the end of today's session. But if you want to make sure that your product catalog is set up, so now you have your pixel, making sure that your product catalog is set up correctly. So again, if you go into your business manager, the same way as you went in to find your pixel, go into Commerce Manager. And in there, it will allow you to integrate your Shopify or your WooCommerce or your Magento or whatever e-commerce platform you're currently using. And then you'll be able to tailor your shop and tailor that experience. So going into Commerce Manager, if you don't have shop set up, if you don't have Facebook shop set up or Instagram shop set up, when you go into Commerce Manager, there is a section there called shops. So once you're logged into Facebook or into Instagram, make sure that when you click on Commerce Manager and you go into shops, they will be prompting you to go get started. So if you're logged into Facebook and you are the admin of your Facebook page, it's really seamless. It literally goes get started, and then you select the Facebook page that you want to have this shop attached to. And the same goes for Instagram shop. So when you're logged into Instagram, there is a prompt here that says set up Instagram shopping. So if your Facebook and Instagram pages are linked, this works really, really quickly. And you can also, again, go into the shop section and put in your Instagram criteria, and it will link it all really, really well. So your pixel is kind of step one here if you really want to make sure that everything is linked correctly. And then you can set up the Shopify with the shops, set up your WooCommerce with the shops, whatever it is that you're using. It's more than likely partnered with Meta, so it makes it quite easy. The only time it becomes a little bit tricky is when it's attached to a custom build, but you should be okay if you have a website developer. And then you're able to tag products. So you can tag them similar to how you would tag a person. So you can tag your products and you can put them in your post so that when I see your post, I can tap on it and then the item appears and then I can click on it and go directly to buy it. And you can put them in stories as well. You can see that there on the bottom right-hand corner. So essentially what this does is it shortens that path to purchase. So that's what people want. They want convenience. When they see something they like, you want to make it as seamless as possible from start to finish. I like it, I see it, I now it's in my cart and now I've bought it and I haven't had time to think twice. So the more that you can facilitate that quicker customer journey, the more sales that you'll be able to generate. And again, when you're in that Commerce Manager, you can then alter how your shop looks. So if you want to maybe add a few more lifestyle imagery pieces in there, if you want to maybe choose a hero image or create a collection, something that maybe is bestsellers to get people started. If they're starting to kind of see your shop now on Instagram or on Facebook, you can create these collections so that they're now kind of easing into your shop and having that really nice kind of brochure style experience with your platform. So all of that is you're able to do within the Commerce Manager section of Business Manager. So when it comes to content creation, lifestyle imagery works so much better than a product on a basic white background. Now, we know that suppliers will provide this to you, and for things like Google Shopping, it is best practices to have that. But when you're using your social media, try to bring your products to life. So especially if your competitors sell the same products and they use the same supplier and they use the same supplier imagery, there's nothing that's setting you apart from them. So you need to step outside of that and make things a little bit more tailored. So bringing the products maybe into nature, bringing them to life in your hands, talking about them, showing them on camera, showing them in your store, even if it's getting colored cards and putting them on it, just trying to think of ways that you can take them outside of that supplier product on a white background, kind of colder selling, bring them to life, warm them up, show them in use. That kind of content works so much better. And if you stock items from locals, if you're supporting local businesses and if you're stocking local products, then bring those people in, bring the people in and have them pictured, show that you are supporting local and supporting small. So even like a Meet the Maker series or anything like that, it works really well from a small business or a localized point of view. So you're showing that you're not, you're separate from the big box, you're separate from these, you're really supporting local, and people love to see that human element as well. If you're doing reels, a really good way of tagging products as well to showcase your store, showcase your shop, and showcase your collection. So you can see when people post reels, there is a prompt to view the products that are featured in that reel, and then it will say more from this shop. So it opens up this shoppable experience for them when they see something that they like. Again, it's very, very seamless from start to finish. So they can see product, they can see image, and they can see price. So it just allows them to, again, upsell, cross-sell, see what else you offer. If they like this one product, maybe they like other products as well. So again, tag those products as much as you possibly can in your videos, in your reels, and in your posts. And when you're doing your video content, especially if you have the store to use, then this, again, if you're doing things like gift guides, Father's Day, for example, is coming up. So maybe there is a gift guide that you can create for Father's Day, but you're doing it as you're walking around the store. So you're showing it in your hands, you're talking about it. This would be perfect for people who like this. This would be perfect for people who like that. And it's just showcasing that kind of like, it's a double whammy, right? Because it's showcasing that you have them in store, but it's also saying we also offer these online, or check out our gift guide that we've created on our website or we've created in our Instagram collection, something that kind of brings it to life. But if you need a little bit of a prompt to get some ideas around content creation, small business, if you type that into TikTok, it will give you loads of ideas. And also, if you do use Canva, you can use the background remover effect and then change that into maybe your store, change it into something that's a bit more landscape, something that's a bit more patterned. So if you are short with resources, you can use that tool to just get rid of that white background. And other things as well here are PicsArt or ClipDrop for, again, editing your pictures. And Lightroom is quite good to just elevate a picture. So you don't need to have a professional camera. You don't need to have the latest iPhone or Samsung or Android. You just need to have whatever camera you have. I'm sure it's perfect on your phone. But if you just want to elevate it, Lightroom is something that we're suggesting. And then using your insights. So see what content has worked for you in the past and do more of that, more content that will really do that for you. So things that you might be looking at now are things like likes and comments. But if you filter your shopping posts by product taps, then you'll be able to see actually how many people have been clicking into the product and how much interest has that generated. So there could be posts that you thought maybe didn't perform as well because you didn't see many likes or comments, but then if you filter by shopping posts and then go into product button clicks, you'll see that there's actually probably a lot more than you thought in there. So definitely use that metric and then do more of that. But localizing your content as well. So especially if you are, that local smaller business, put your location tag into your posts. It then makes it a bit more tailored and people in your local area may see it more as well. Do this with your stories as well. So now before we finish up, we wanted to get into some e-commerce campaigns and ad opportunities as well for you when you're using Meta. So using the lifestyle imagery, using the lifestyle videos, even looking back at content that performed quite well, use them as a basis for the type of content you should be doing in your ads, because you know if they perform well organically, they're more than likely going to perform well on a paid level. So when you're in Ads Manager, click on the sales section. So there's two things here that you can choose. You can choose to optimize for conversions and create the ad yourself, or you can choose catalog sales, which allows you to then create ads directly from your catalog in a dynamic way. So we'll start off with carousels here. So again, if you are creating lifestyle imagery, it works really well in this format. So this is kind of like that swipeable unit you've more than likely seen on Instagram and on Facebook, but it leads directly to each individual item. So you can be a bit more creative if you want on the right-hand side, as you can see with the shoe, where it all leads to the one page, or on the left-hand side, if you have collections that you want to promote or individual items. And if you optimize that for sales, these types of units work really, really well for sales because they're bringing it to life and they're allowing people to scroll and see within the unit and then tap on the one that they really want to get. And the other one here are the dynamic product ads. And the best way to describe these ads is if you were on a website and you looked at, we'll say 3 or 4 different individual products on that website. You didn't buy them, you didn't add them to your cart, you were browsing, you were kind of in market, but you didn't add anything to your cart. Then you leave that website and you open up Instagram. And now all of a sudden you're seeing all of the products that you've seen in that swipeable unit are now being showcased to you with a prompt to come back and buy them, potentially with an incentive. So that's really, really tailored, but it's dynamically served to you from site. So these types of ads are really, really good for sales. They're actually quite good to generate that revenue because you're targeting a really, really warm audience, and they're also scalable as well. And you can have them as always on and evergreen campaigns as well. They're a great thing to have. So when you're setting them up, all you have to do is set them up to retarget people who've been on your website. It's really easy to follow. And then they're dynamically created based on the name of the product. And you can add in an incentive here where you maybe say, 10% off for first-time buyers, or free shipping, or next day delivery, whatever it is that you want to offer, just to set it apart a little bit. But you can even see eBay's prompt here, which is basically inspired, take another look. So it's really, really tailored as well. So now we'll just get into some case studies before we finish up, because we do like to give you some inspiration as well. So in terms of an account that you can follow that shows both online and in-store promotion, we are suggesting you look at the Kilkenny shop. So they have a really good way of showcasing items in store, but also selling their items online. But they're also quite good at that meet the maker content and that supporting local and that supporting designers. All of that is really good to, again, show that you're supporting a smaller business as opposed to a big, big, big store. And then we have Marshalls. So Marshalls are really good at having that in-store kind of gift guide, come shop with us. That type of content works well as well for, yes, you can go in and buy the items and you can see where they are in the store, but it also creates that sense of, oh, that looks actually really nice, or I never thought of buying that, or like having it categorized to an event, whether it's, graduation or starting a new job, or again, Father's Day, Mother's Day, seasonal, all of that. Create that buzz with your videos, and Marshalls do that very well. So if you need some inspiration, we would definitely recommend looking at them. And then another smaller local business, because we don't want to forget about Facebook, Tom Murphy Menswear are quite good to create local in-store videos that do really, really well on Facebook. They almost answer people's questions while also showcasing the store, while also it's like a really nice kind of soft sell. So there's something that you can look at to really push that local aspect of the business. And just before we finish up, we wanted to give you some quick tips here as well, but feel free to put some questions into the Q&A section as well. I'm keeping an eye on it before we finish up. So some final tips here is Don't focus on selling 100% of the time. Remember that 80-20 rule is really, really important. So you're not selling. You're providing that valuable content or that engaging content, that entertaining content as well. Nurturing your social media followers. So building that relationship, having that engagement, and thinking about retention. Asking for reviews. So if somebody has given you a message maybe on Instagram or on Facebook saying, I really love that product, or it's such good customer service today, then that's where you prompt and say, we'd love it if you put that in a review for us. But being approachable on social, and this comes into being consistent as well. So when you are consistent, then, and you're showing, that unique selling point, you're showing that persona of your business, then that approachability will lead to people asking questions, and then again will allow you to encourage that action. So do be approachable, open yourself up for questions. If you have a question, let me know, send us a message, all of that. So you're opening the lines of communication with people. So again, if you do have any questions, pop them in the question box. But we do encourage you to fill out these worksheets that we do provide. So after today's session, we will be providing the recording. We'll also be providing a copy of today's deck, and we'll be giving you a worksheet as well. And that's where we do encourage you to book those one-to-ones with us, so that you get that direct feedback and that really bespoke feedback as well on your business. So I don't think there's any other questions that have come through on here. So with that, we'd like to say a thank you for joining us today. We really hope that you got value out of it as well and picked up some pointers for your business. And we will see you all at the next session, which is the 24th of May at 9:30. And that is all about collabs, influencers, and pop-ups as well. So we're looking forward to seeing you then. And thank you so much for joining us on today's session.